Hello, Mr. Leggett.
Hi mate, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm living the dream, mate. I'm here.
Excellent. Oh, so I'm glad you're here because I was starting to flag. I was starting to flag. I needed a quality guest to join me to sort of help me through the final stages of the stream. So thank you for joining me, mate. It's much
Anytime,
appreciated.
mate.
Um, don't say any time because I might hold you to that.
Yeah, you're
um,
all good.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely certain that once once people realise that it's Freddie hour, we'll get a few more viewers. We've had an up and down day. We've had some. We had everyone sort of on the stream start of the day, and the app news dropped. Someone was like, "You need to check the app store. They've dropped the battle scroll." It was like, "Oh shit, okay." So we were all spent an hour sort of trying to go through that. Then we had a bit of a dip, and then we had another peak as I was building some models. Did some hobbying.
Did some hobbying. Very
Did some
nice.
hobbying, yeah. And then we built a list for Andy Jennings. I built a list. Me, I didn't just copy it.
Okay, with the new rules.
With the new points, yeah, absolutely. So it was a list that didn't exist before the start of the day, because basically Gluttons went down 10 points, so he could fit a unit in. So, so it was
Alright.
all good, yeah. So let me just triple check that you just say something so I can check you're coming through.
Hello, how are you? Is
Uh,
that working now? Working,
yeah, it
working,
seems
working.
it seems to be on my end. If James, if you're still out there, mate, let me know if you can hear Freddie, because James did let me know when I took a break and I came back and I forgot to unmute my mic, which was quality viewing. No wonder people didn't
Yeah,
stick
of
around.
course.
Um, so Freddie, thank you for joining me this evening for my 12
Anytime, mate.
hour mega stream, which seemed like a good idea a few weeks ago, and I'm now like regretting life choices. Uh,
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it the same. I'd have given up in about 4 or 5 hours in, I think.
yeah, I mean
So you did better than me.
we're into hours. We've done 7 hours so far, so we're into the home stretch now. And
Yeah,
I think you and Mark were both my first guests on Just Roll Sixes, weren't you?
I think so. Yeah, I can't remember. Was it for an event? I, Carnage or something like that?
Possibly,
Or
yeah,
I mean, we're talking about a couple of years ago now.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Yeah,
yeah.
it's been a long time. I honestly don't know where I am every day now, so let alone where I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. So yeah, so it seems appropriate that you and Mark are both on this evening and stuff. So James has said that it sounds fine from both of us. So this will be the section of the show that I will actually like turn into a podcast. This and the Death and Destruction. So the previous 7 hours, unfortunately, they're
All
consigned to
right.
history. This will be clipped and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, we
Okay.
yeah, got to put the quality content out there, and if so,
If you think this is going to be quality, you're in for a treat.
well, anytime I get to spend with you, Freddie's a treat. Anytime.
Ah, yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
that's that's very kind. Thank you.
so yeah. So the first things first. So is it England co-captain or England vice captain
England vice captain for Worlds this year.
for
Yeah, and
Worlds?
then
Yeah,
I'm still the Six Nations captain until I give over that one after Worlds.
after Worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Six Nations. So you were able to you brought it home.
I did, and thank God it was over because, yeah, I did not enjoy it.
No.
I mean, was in at the minute. It's just like all the pressure is on, and it's like, oh crap, I'll win this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's not. It's all you get told, especially the Six Nations countries. England's never lost it. We've never
Right.
lost a round. Like you need to go win it, and it's like, oh crap. Especially when Wales and teams like that they brought their world's team.
Yeah.
We were thinking, oh, here we go. You might get a bit spicy now. But no, like I had a whale of a time. In the end, once I got past Wales, I started to enjoy myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was. I don't think I'll captain again. I potentially I'll play, but playing's a lot more less stress free.
Yeah. I noticed that you didn't sort of say, I looked and I saw Northern Ireland were there and thought, shit, I need to bring my A game here.
Well, the thing with Northern Ireland was, I
Oh,
think it
here
was
we
in the
go.
day before. Yeah, Exactly. So when we saw the swap, because I think it came in the captain chat like, oh, we
Yeah.
just want to do a quick. Oh, Craig can't make it anymore. Can we change player? It's like, yeah, no problem. Like, you know, same sort of list. That would be a proper. Next thing you know, OBR come in. All the matrices suddenly go red. I'm like, wow, what's going on here? And it was like, oh, Christopher's in. I was like, what kind of like replacement player is that? um,
I mean, I think you knew before we did as a team, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, genuinely, we sort of found out after it was agreed and done. So I think Solomon didn't want to stress us out beforehand because we had another drop beforehand. So one of the guys basically had been saying, "Oh, I'm coming," and I was like, "I don't think he's coming. He's not really said much in the chat for ages. Like, I don't think he's coming." And everyone's like, "No, he's coming. He's solid." I'm like, "Okay, you know the team better than I do." And then it was like, "He's not coming," and I was like, "Oh, okay." The fact they didn't ask us about flights or hotels or anything probably gave it away. And so he got replaced with one of the local guys who was sort of coming. So we're like, okay, fine, you know. And then next thing is like, by the way, you've got Denmark's captain. It's like, so what? What the fuck?
Like, it was like, I think everyone had like that Zeech. I think it was Craig, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Craig. Yeah.
I think everyone, unfortunately for him, I think everyone had that Zeech list as green. Like, we all knew we were going to batter it.
Yeah.
And then when that OBR came in, it was like, oh crap! Like, not only is it a great fucking list, but also like it's a world class player on it, and you're like, oh, this, it suddenly ups the levels a bit.
Yeah, I think at that stage it was like, oh no, they might have two players who can win a game now.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, Solomon could beat anyone, to be fair.
Yeah, on his day, Sol's got anyone, yeah. So, no, it was Six Nations. I mean, yeah, I hadn't even realised that that England had never dropped a round. I didn't even realise that was a thing. So that's another level of pressure on there.
Yeah, it is, and that's and it normally comes down to the Wales and Sweden, to be honest, and it's normally I haven't quite for the last couple of years really threatened.
No.
But a lot of it's to do with lists. Like generally, Sweden do come packing with a lot of very good lists.
Yeah.
And they've improved a lot, and you know how competitive they'll be and how clean they'll be, and the sort of not gaminess, but
no. Tightness, shall we sort? I don't know what the tightness. Yeah, let's call it.
Fair.
Yeah, hard but fair. Yeah. I mean, my game against my Swedish opponent was quite funny because we were having a lovely game all the way through the game. It was lovely. We were jokes back and forth type thing. You know, lovely game. And then I thought I was like, oh, you've won this, but it's just now a matter of how much you win by. And that was down to me reading bloody Tabletop Battles wrong. And I was 2 points ahead, and I thought he was 2 points ahead. So
for God's sake.
he or whatever it was, but he ended up losing, and I was like, oh, well done, you've won. And he's like, no, you've won. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit. And I was like, it wasn't one of those things where I'm like trying to wind him up, but he got a little bit annoyed, sort of put his stuff down on the table and sort of stormed away from the table. And his captain said, "Oh, you know, look, he's quite he likes to win and stuff. You know, that's just him and stuff." And I was like, "No, fuck that. We had a lovely game. I'm not letting him do that." So I chased after him and made him give me a hug.
Who was that? Was that the
Ulf? Yeah, Ulf. The Nurgle. Yeah, Ulf. Yeah, the Nurgle player. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I played the Cities, and he was lovely. That was the second time in a row now I played him at Six Nations, so lovely fella.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I don't know whether me running after him and giving him a hug was made it worse for him or better, but yeah.
Probably made it worse, but
yeah, probably. You know, me trying to be nice and him like
love.
Yeah. He's like, fuck this guy. He's trying to gaslight me that I've won, and then he's.
I think when I was first playing a tournament or whatever, like I think the first time I might played Dan Bradshaw or something like that. I think he tabled me, like 20-0'd me, and then was like, yeah, let's have a hug and all that, and I'm like, you bastards, like yeah, let's all have a jolly game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard when you get humbled for having a hug.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I didn't quite realise that you guys had never lost a round and stuff. So yeah, that is a level of pressure that I'm not anywhere close to that. We're not up there, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately, whatever. But yeah.
Well, you know, it only takes a couple of extra players or a couple of like the right armies for the right people, and it does come in quick.
So you coming back to play for Team NI then basically is what you're saying.
Look, for NI I went 1-5 I think at Worlds. So
Yeah, but you didn't get 20 0'd every game when you were scoring points and stuff, so it's not the same.
I think I did. I think I lost 9-11 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a humbling, but yeah. Well, the fact that we beat Sweden was literally the high point so far of like one of my gaming experiences is winning it with Northern Ireland.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. It does. Knowing the sort of the pressure you're under, it does make sense why Alex Bruce, after playing me, was probably feeling a bit sheepish because he dropped 2 battle tactics, and you had Andy Hughes watching him with his notebook, and he was like, "Okay."
Oh yeah, it was. It does help having all the helpers there, but it does add a bit of extra pressure. But yeah, when I got absolutely battered by Christopher, I was a little bit more happier when everyone else was winning.
Yes, of course.
Like,
yeah.
Because that was literally, Christopher loss was the first loss I'd ever had in an England shirt.
Wow. Okay.
So I think going into that game I was like 20-0 or something like that, and he then battered me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty confident, and then I think I got 16 forward or something like that. I got bent over a table, but it was a little bit more happier when we go, oh, we won all the other 7 tables. You're like, all right, I'll allow it.
Yeah. I'll take that one.
We could have played.
Yes, it was on the cards, literally on the cards, literally on the cards.
All I remember is like it was on the table, and you were going, just play me then. Play me, don't be scared of me. Like, and I'm like, I can't.
I think we had a chat at Brothers War the other week, didn't we? And you said you have to go with the Matrix, because I was like, Freddie, it's a green for you, and you were like, no, the Matrix said it wasn't. Oh, right, Freddie's dropped out. Let me quickly grab him back. What's going on there? Bear with me, Freddie. Sorry, dropped out. Should be back. Yeah, you're back. Sorry, it dropped out. It's not as reliable, this system, but it's the only one I've got. So, but yeah. So yeah, last weekend you sort of said you had to go with the Matrix, which said don't play me. So or my army. So yeah, we baited you a little bit.
I'm proud of going with the Matrix. It's one of the rarities that looking back now, maybe I shouldn't have.
Well, you know,
but, yeah.
it's. I mean, I definitely wasn't going to beat you 16-4, so that's for sure. But
no, yes, I don't think you were ever going to beat that 80 best score list. That was great.
No, I mean, funnily enough, talking to Owen Jackson when we did the Wales pairings, he said actually, because I ended up in the Zinch, and I said, no, I want the Beasts. Because again, as much as I was winding you up and saying like, oh, I want you, I thought I favoured into the Beasts a bit more than some of the other lists. And he was like, oh yeah, no, I was terrified of Pete's list. And I was like, see, I told you, Solomon. I told you I should have been going into the Beasts. I was like, I had nothing against Zinch, like nothing. So
no, it's so controlling.
Yeah, and but I've got a controlling captain, so it was fine. He controlled me on the day as well. So no, so have you? You've been at work today, I presume. Have you had a chance to look at the new battle scroll yet, or check it out?
We've deep dived it as England, and the crazy lists are already flying through.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
See,
I think the one thing that England's probably got over a lot of people is I do think we react to battle scrolls very well. Like, I think we're one of the best list builders that there are, and some lists that are coming out are cracked. So,
well, not to blow smoke up your ass, but I said the same actually earlier today when the battle scroll dropped, and we were talking about who we thought would be able to respond to it quickest. I said I think England will definitely be up there. I said England, Denmark maybe, just because they like to grind it out, and they've got they'll probably be in their clubhouse tonight with all the lists out and playing, but I said I think England would react quickest, and again,
so we've got
no, sorry, go on.
So we got a practice weekend this weekend now, so again another practice weekend where we're going to test out all the ideas that come from this week, so
nice.
We should hopefully have the right plan for going into Worlds, because there's a few lists that did mix up quite a bit. I won't reveal which ones, but yeah, some of them did get changed up quite a bit. It got hit quite hard. Just got to check if they're still viable.
Yeah, cries and slaves to darkness over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought slaves would be hit harder. To be fair.
yeah. I mean, there was a world in which they sort of got a. I thought maybe Be'lakor. Well, some people were thinking Be'lakor might go up 40 points rather than 20.
Yeah.
But I think they hit them with points and War Scroll. Yeah.
I thought they might go for the double activation change.
Yeah. There was rumours. Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't, that means it's still this the double chosen, double Vanguard, whatever you want. They're still going to be there.
Yeah. It's just sort of it's what level and sort of what supports it and stuff. But I don't know. I'm sort of having a think about whether I stick with them or I move off. But my backup was the monster truck list, and that's been smashed by 100 points. Yeah. So.
I asked the question into the group. I was like, "How much of the Stonehorn's gone up?" They're like 100 odd points. I was like, "As soon as you lose Stonehorn, that's it done."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm sort of I've been sat here crying a little bit inside of like, fuck, what do I take? Because most of the other armies I would have taken are already assigned. So yeah, there's not much I can do there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I say
pick up something interesting. Pick up something really random and different.
A, because I'm not you, and we'll get into how you approach the game. So yeah, A, I'm not you. B, Solomon says if I submit a list to him, it has to be fully backed up with all the logic of how it's going to score 5 battle tactics and score 1, score 2 every turn.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
God, even I don't have that bloody.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. I was like, there's not many lists in there that I can think of. I mean, 4 to 5 battle tactics, but yeah, that you need that sort of. You need the ability that if you're going to lose, you can still get 4 battle tactics and score 1, score 2 each round, so you're not giving away too many points. So yeah,
100%, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure I enjoy the competitive Warhammer thing these days. It's like it is quite a lot of pressure just of sticking with the list. That's the hardest thing.
me and Phil have been saying that this year. Like especially playing for England, it's basically like a part-time job. Like it's a lot of practice games, a lot of research, a lot of evenings practicing, and it's just like at some point it does take the fun out of the sort of Warhammer side of it. So whether we take a year out at some point or maybe take it a bit easier, because I'd love to be back on the middle tables at some point, like having a few pints, like just chilling out. Because at the minute you just unless you go 4-1 and you've had a ruined weekend, and it's like I don't really want to be in that lifestyle at the minute. So after Worlds, couple months out, chill out. Wait for the GHB, and then I think then I'll figure out what I want to do.
Yeah, fair enough. There's always a space on any team event I'm ever running if you want those middle to low tables to sort of just have some fun and roll some dice. There's
I'd say Brothers War last year was a lot easier on the bottom tables. Well, Speckles, you proved it. You learned it well over time.
Yeah, Speckles. That was the push for us to be bottom team and him the best performing player was ridiculous. It was absolutely stupid, and then he was annoyed that he didn't get it, and it's like, well, and he was like, just do random pairings. It was like, no, we can pair it so we can guarantee you the win. He's like, no, just random. It was like, okay, whatever. And then I ended up playing. I was on a clock for game 5, even down there at the bottom tables.
Oh wow!
So we were playing into Ireland, so I kind of
you got it.
Yeah, and do you know Johnny? Do you know Johnny Kelly?
Johnny,
yeah. Stick him on the clock every time.
Cool boys then, all right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, stick him on the clock every time. Like the man, I played him twice at tournaments, and the first time I didn't clock him, and I should have. So I went, do you want a clock? I was practice for Worlds. He was like, yeah, cool, let's go for it. So, but what's your opinion on clocks? I found it quite liberating being on the clock. Like, I actually enjoy being on the clock.
I like him. I think it just makes it a lot more fairer, but because I play quick, I don't. For normal games, I don't feel the need to. I'm quite happy them taking more time or anything like that. When it gets to competitive stuff, fine. It making it balance is a lot better. But I think I think it's more beneficial for the people who eat time. So there's a few players, even in the England team, who'd like to spend a bit more time thinking than others. I'm quite reactionary. I can already clock what I want to do straight away. Um, One of those benefits, I guess, for the clock with me is I take more time because I can actually. I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Um, which is good in a way. But yeah, I think from a competitive nature, I don't think you can go away from clocks. I think it is the way forward.
Yeah, and then I guess that then comes into list building, that you need to be able to build a list you can play comfortably with an hour and a half or whatever the time is allocated. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you fancy playing 200 clan rats or 200 ghouls or whatever, go for it. But like, if someone wants to just chuck endless spells at you, then you got to fight it every turn. You will time out, and it is a tactic to bleed people's clocks. So you just got to be wary of that sort of stuff when you're building lists.
So we've heard exclusively here how England are going to take out Tom Guan's 200 clan rat list, throwing list spells at them until you say clocks out. Yeah.
Just one by one. There you go.
Yeah.
Final
Yeah.
one. That's
So-
tagging 50 models. Have fun.
Yeah, so we need to build. So if we're facing USA, we need to build a list that can comfortably cast those endless spells. So you don't want high casting values, low casting value. Just throw it at it, and yeah, and stick your terrain piece quite far forward as well, so that if he's near that, he's got to fight that as well. See, I can do some tactics with Sigmar, just a few. No, that's cool. So you're known as being a cities player, but haven't played cities in a long time because they're just not there.
I mean, points-wise, they might be there.
I've been sent a list. It's
Whether it's good or not, it's a different matter.
50 Cavalier Free Guild horse dudes, Pontifex and the Free Guild Cavalier.
I think you'll see it at Worlds. I mean, Russia played Cavalier Spam years ago, like last year.
Yeah.
It's still good. It's still a 3-up, 5-up ward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pin your army. It still
Yeah.
does the job. I didn't realise Talia now in the new scroll can take
anything.
anyone.
Yeah.
Which I think actually does open up a lot of options. Yeah, it's a good list building challenge cities, but I don't think I'll be able to figure it out and test it enough for Worlds.
Yeah.
Personally, someone else in the team might be able to.
Yeah.
But that's if someone can crack it and figure out that city's list for Worlds, then it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it seems like a couple of the nations have been sort of so USA and Italy seem to be the ones that at tournaments looking at BCP and stuff where they've had some success with some cities stuff, but it's singles rather than team events, so don't read too much into it. And also the meta and the way the game's played in some of those countries, should we say, like Nurgle's amazing in America because the movement, you can get like a Graham Clean one moving 12 inches before it's charged.
What tournament was that?
LVO, wasn't it? LVO, yeah. It's like, here's my Graham Clean one. Yeah, I mean, there's playing to intent, and then there's playing to intent. I intend for my guy to be over there, so he will. No, it's no digs against anyone on it. I think a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago, when England refused to play on stream, and I know you weren't part of the team in that. Excuse me, and this isn't a dig, by the way. I'm going to get to where I'm going. They refused to play on stream, and at the time I thought, oh, that's really sus and stuff. But actually, having watched some of the streams, so I watched Tom's Threshold Tactics Amsterdam event this weekend, and I watched some of the streamed games, and basically, like people just I've managed to switch my monitor off. That's a good start. Right. They were making mistakes, and it wasn't like anything intentional. Like they filmed some of the mid to low tables, so I think there was like a guy that maybe gone like 1-2 and then was playing game 4 or something, and they're making mistakes, and I'm watching it going like, oh, I know that's that because I've played that army or whatever, but they're being streamed, they're under pressure. One thing I didn't quite like, and again, this is Tom's prerogative, whatever, but the streamers were interceding, So they were like, "Oh no,
Right.
you haven't done this," or "Oh, that rules this, whatever." And it was like, "Guys, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? What have you done?" And they'd be like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "Oh, that's quite active TOing in some respect, but from a stream to."
Yeah.
And I thought the pressure on it, and I was like, people in the chat are jumping on them making mistakes, and I was like, "Do you know what? Actually, fuck playing on stream at high level competitive stuff, because we're all human." James, thank you for joining us all day, mate. Much appreciated. One of your club mates, James Bean.
Oh, lovely.
And yeah, I just thought actually people are so intent to catch you out, and sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's more often than not you think it's by accident that people might do something or whatever. And I just thought, fuck playing on stream at a high level for Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I played Rune on stream at Worlds last year, and it does add an extra little bit of pressure. But I don't know. I found it easier to play that than say doing it at a casual event. So I remember my first ever event I played Warhammer. I went on stream. I won my first ever Warhammer game. Went on live stream and got battered on TSN. Um, and I hated it. Because I didn't know the rules and I didn't know what I was doing. The pressure to try and get it right and
Yeah.
the nuances and all that lot. It was, I mean, I had a migraine halfway through the turn. Where now, like against Rune, me and him knew exactly what we were meant to do, how to play, and you kind of forget that the stream's there in a way. Some streams are a bit better without the headsets and all that sort of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind it as much in competitive, but I did refuse to go on the French one though. But that was more because the French Skaven player was setting up the terrain. So before we even started pairing, the Skaven player was setting up terrains and all that lot on table 1. And I got paired into it, and I was like, "We are moving off that table. I'm not going anywhere near that table." Because I was like on stream, all the massive terrains for this Skaven list. I was like, not a chance. Like that had been lined up for since the day before.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm not getting caught out on stream like that. But
no, that's fair. Yeah, it's fair.
But the rest of it, I don't mind it. If anything, I think it helps build the scene a little bit if we can get all the best teams on there.
Yeah, we've played on stream notoriously where I forgot half my models, which was fun. So
We did,
yeah, I had to go and buy some bases from Element Games. It was like brilliant. I think that was my first time on stream as well. I think we grudged for it, hadn't we? So maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if I was on stream for that though, but that was another Carnage, wasn't it? Or
oh, it might have been. It was what's his face? Dyson Ducks, not Dyson Ducks.
He was streaming it. Was it Purple
he was streaming it. Yeah.
Unicorn?
I think that might have been it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, might have been my first 5-0.
Well, glad to help.
Yeah. I mean, that team's list was broken, so yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and I'm just running my casual Iron Jaws that have still got fucking no idea how they play.
I mean, no one knows how to play now.
No, I mean, yeah, Iron Jaws are a bit of an odd spot at the minute, but
they just do less damage. I mean, Khorne are more destruction than they are now.
Yeah, gone up 100 points though. I think most lists Khorne. Yeah.
Yeah, showing that list of Brotherhood was definitely probably the wrong choice because everyone started spamming that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's. I mean, it's still alive. I mean, you lose 5 Wraths among us or whatever.
Yeah.
But it didn't need if people just chilled out and just just we know it's good. Shush.
Yeah.
We could have all had fun at Worlds with it, but no.
Fun at Worlds, that's a unique concept. No, actually, to be fair, Worlds was great fun. How are you feeling about Austria, as a location? Because I was feeling quite hyped about it, and then I've had loads of people were just pointing out that obviously the gaming area is quite far out and stuff.
So we've got England's got an interesting Austria experience because we booked this hotel. I don't know, like a spa hotel, whatever it was, 16 pools or whatever, and we thought this is fantastic. And now someone's just revealed that it's a nudist hotel. So I'm not sure how we're going to feel playing all this Warhammer and then coming back to hotel, just see a lot of penis around.
Yeah, I mean, are you the only team staying there, or is there other teams staying
No,
there?
no, no. Because Phil found this great deal. I think he's invited like Australia out there, USA. Like there's quite a few nations coming out there. Because I was like, oh, it's a great deal, great price,
Yeah.
and a great place to relax. Um,
There could be some interesting moments where you maybe catch sight of your opponent that you might be playing the later that day, and it's like, oh,
Size
okay,
up, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we're thankfully not staying in the nudist hotel, but
No.
yeah, it'll be an interesting one. We're flying out the day before the day, so we're going out on Wednesday to Vienna. We're going to do like a little
Oh, that'd be
team,
nice.
like a little team bonding session, drinking, bite to eat and stuff before going over on
I
the
think that's a good
Thursday.
idea.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did
I
it
think.
for
Yeah.
Six Nations. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I did the bad thing of Six Nations flew out on that night, and it was a bit crap.
Oof. Yeah.
You didn't get to see Malmo at all.
No.
Um, we're going out on the Tuesday.
Right.
We're not playing singles though, because
No.
that was horrific last time.
Yeah.
So we'll just have a couple of days there, chill. Um,
Nice.
go watch singles. I think just watch a bit of it.
Yeah.
It's always a good laugh, and then, like you say, just try and chill out a bit
Yeah.
before the hectic of life of Worlds.
Yeah. It's there's such a big build up to it, and then it's sort of done just like that, and you're sort of
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, last year I had to shoot off on the Sunday. Literally, as soon as my game finished, I had to shoot off because I was going on holiday with my best mate, his missus and my missus. So I couldn't enjoy the sort of
remember you
post
did, yeah.
Worlds. Yeah, I was like, right, I need to finish this game, and then I need to run for a train, and I need to get here
It's
and
not what
there.
you want to do.
No, so I'm looking forward. I think my flight on the Monday. I think most of our flights on the Monday are like 5 o'clock or something. It's something
Yeah,
later in the day.
we're
Yeah,
similar. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I think it's needed. Just chill
Yeah.
out afterwards. Because if we didn't, I think I had an early flight out on that Monday, so I didn't really get to drink much, like with the
No.
lads and all that lot.
yeah, yeah,
Touch wood, we'll be having something to celebrate, but we'll see.
yeah. I mean, I like what you've done with the team this year. What you and Phil have done with the team, I definitely like it. I think when you revealed the team, I think there was like a couple of bits where we were like, oh, that seems like a bit of a left field choice, but not like in a bad way. It was just like, oh,
No.
But when you and Phil were putting the team together, what were you sort of looking for? And I'm not saying which people or whatever, but what were you looking
No.
for when you put a team together?
So, what you're looking for? So yeah, Six Nations and Worlds are slightly different in terms of how we kind of pick the team. The World style, it came down to the World's team basically came down to the people who were putting the reps in, the work, getting results in the year. It didn't come down to like, oh, this person plays Slaves to Darkness very well. That's a good, like, we don't go into that depth because generally we think everyone in the England team should be good enough that they can switch
Yeah,
to something else. So it's reps, it's participation. A lot of it is like, because we have a lot of like England Team England meetings, like Six Nations, how involved in depth you are, practice weekends. It's quite full on, and if you're shown to be involved, that goes a long way.
yeah,
And then lastly, it's tabletop manor, which is kind of the last big one for us. We've tried to make big strides, me and Phil, in terms of the people's reputation of England.
yeah,
We don't want to have that, I guess, this sort of old boy toxic nature that was the old people used to think of England. People were like, Si, if you play an England player.
yeah,
We're trying to change that. I think there's still some ways to go. I think there'll always be able to be improvements. But I do think the England team community outside and is socialising more with the outer community, and I think that was needed. And that's kind of a big part of it as well. Is we want players who give the opponent a good game.
yeah,
Can be competitive. They can be firm or whatever, but be respectful, be clean, and be a sportsman really.
yeah. No, that's a really good ethos. You should make that a charter or something. No digs. No, I think that's really good. I think I think I've seen a sea change at the events I've been at where Team England players have been, which, yeah, I mean, it's massive. There was, for want of a better phrase, and it's, when I say the word controversy, I'm not talking in the same context of, say, like what's going on in America at the minute or whatever, and not Warhammer. I mean, like world controversy and stuff. But like there was a year of controversy with the England team, I think. Mainly stirred up by myself because I'd tell everybody about it. No, I'm a podcaster. I've got to find a way to make content. Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I think there was a year of controversy, and I think one of the biggest compliments to you guys is that there hasn't been that this year.
Like, we've been burying it. That's all.
Well, I think there was not. I think there was one bit of minor controversy by one person that sort of happened, but I think that was. How can I be diplomatic? I just think that it was a non-story on the basis of what you've said of how you were picking a team and so on and so forth. Some people are always going to be left out, and there's always going to be some people that don't make the cut for reason X, Y, or Z. And I think. It was all handled really. Professional's the wrong word, but it's sort of like professional is.
No. I mean, Phil does a huge amount in terms of that sort of character side of Warhammer and the sort of how we want to conduct ourselves at the table. So, and this will go to everyone who sort of listens to this. That if you do have any feedback regarding England players, good, bad, ugly, great, let Phil know. We do react to them. If there is instances with England players or bad feedback or bad sportsmen, we do react to it. We do challenge the players straight away, and that's going to continue. And I think that's why you'll start seeing more and more improvement with England players, because they know the feedback gets back to me and Phil. And it's just holding our players accountable for you're putting on an England shirt, like it's got to mean something. So hopefully. Year on year, it's gonna get better and better.
Yeah, and I think, like you were saying, that active feedback's being sought out and stuff. So I'm aware of occasions where it's like, oh, how did that game go and stuff? Against that person, it's like, yeah, it was good, it was bad, or maybe improve this. So I think that's really good. I think you've nailed something that I've been banging on for ages on the podcast about, which is like pride in the shirt. The shirt should mean something, and I think there's more people that be wanting to play for England now. Versus 12 months ago. So, and it's no criticism of the people that came. I'm not picking on bits, but there's been a sea change. That is what it is. Yeah, I mean, Team NI similar. We know we're not going to win, but we want people to play the right way on the table. And Stephen Mitchell, who was captain for Worlds last year. He sort of fed back to me. Initially fed back, you're not in the team, because I wasn't. He was like, come over to some events and stuff. So I was like, right, I'll make an effort. Got over there for the Exploding Dice, which was pretty much a year ago, next week type thing. And I played him, and I sort of went to the toilet, and I came back, and I was like, before he was doing his deployment, I said, oh, I think you've forgotten that, if he's there, I can launch this at him with my guidance. He's like, oh yeah, cheers. I said, I just don't want you to lose your Sking Star Priest like before the game's even started. He's like, no, I appreciate that. And he said afterwards, he said, look, we want people who are going to play the game on the table the right way. We're not going to win, so there's no point being dickheads. Like, there's nothing worse. If you're going to lose and be a dickhead about it, stay home.
There is literally nothing worse than that. But even winning being a dickhead is not a nice feeling.
No.
So it's just got. We all should be good enough players that you can win the right way. Like, you shouldn't need to cheat. You shouldn't need to play dirty or pushing rules on people or whatever. Like, it's just not needed.
No, I don't think so. And funnily enough, I've just had a look at who's in the chat and stuff, and another person who I've been beat by and played, who's a very good player, but Owen Jackson, it looks like he's in the chat. So big shout out to Owen. We miss you over on the UK scene, man. Yeah, it's you are very missed over here. But I've played Owen. He's a very good player, and I absolutely love playing Owen, and I know that more often than not he's probably going to beat me, but we're going to have a cracking game at the same time. Similar to playing yourself, actually. I know that 99.99% of the time you are going to beat me. There's going to be a time when something happens. Maybe I'll have got you pissed beforehand, and it's game 4 or something. Actually, generally speaking, if we don't play game 1, I'm not playing you.
Yeah. Well, it might do if I go on the mid tables. If I get the pints in me.
Brilliant. Not if I get better, I can raise myself up. If you can dumb yourself down.
If you find a broken list, you can beat anyone. You can batter me any day.
Yeah, I think let's talk lists, because I am rubbish at writing lists. Like I don't. That's not where I find the joy. Like I don't sit there. I can't spend 16 hours looking over stuff. I find it harder now that the stuff's in the app rather than the book. I prefer like paper copies where you can lay stuff out and treasure on it. So I find it harder. And I find a list that I like the look of, and I think, okay, maybe I can tweak that, generally make it worse, or I can, it might fit my play style or whatever. I'll take out that unit that everyone thinks is brilliant. I'll put 2 of these in that are shit and hit on worse and aren't reliable. But do you get where do you get your inspirations from your lists?
So my inspirations have always been sort of I like reading the books like you were saying, and I'll find a rule or that tickles my fancy. So whether I don't know what's like that corn build that I built in January, I was like, oh, Wrathmongers do mortals back, Blood Warriors do mortals back. How far could this go? And that's just a simple idea, and then from there you go, oh well, what about this? What about it? And that's where it started piling on. My cities list was actually very similar, where I was like, well, here's a spell that you put for every wound. I was like, well, what's the heaviest, densest unit I could find?
Yeah.
That was that. And then I was like, well, how do I transport it to the person? Oh well, I got teleports in with Paladors. And it was like, I just like layer on layer, and it's just, but for one little idea, you can then build the list to build around it. And that's generally the concept I go with. And that's why I find the enjoyment in list building. It's a bit more boring now, list building.
Yeah.
Just because there are war scrolls that are just better than others.
Yeah.
I do a lot of my own maths, so I'm one of those weirdos who has the Excel spreadsheets, and I'll do my own maths on outputs, like defenses, attacking, and I'll rate it myself on how I would rate. So that's where I saw previously. I saw how valuable the Wrathmongers were, where previously people hadn't clocked the sort of damage to sort of wound count ratio and all that sort of stuff. Even at 140, I was looking at getting 30 of them. So when they went down to 120, it was a joke. That's the sort of stuff that I'll clock. I mean, that's why Beast Bestigold came out like I didn't make that on list, but it's the same sort of concept. Mathematically, they were just the best. And I'll put that work in, I guess, more than others to do a little bit of maths. It's not bloody. It's a 5-minute exercise, but a lot of people just go like yourself. Like you'd rather find your list.
Yeah.
But I know my play style. I'm a passive son of a bitch who won't want to move anywhere, and so I'll have a massive wound sink doing nothing. That'll just stand on the points, and I'm pretty good at playing those sort of armies.
Yeah.
I can't play like Phil does. I know I can't just go, I'm going to double you now, I'm going to table you. I don't have that in me. I'm kind of risk averse, where I'm like, I'm going to lose this priority, I'm going to lose that, I'm going to lose this roll off, I'm going to lose that, and I plan for the worst case, where I think Phil plans for best case, and together it works. But yeah, you can't all be pessimistic bastards like me playing Warhammer. You got to have the balance.
Yeah, Owen's saying in the chat, Freddie just likes his opponents to punch themselves in the face.
Do you know what? I mean, the key part of it is, if someone's going to hit me anyway, I might as well do damage on the way out.
Yeah.
Like if because I don't know, 20 chosen are still going to come into you regardless. Even the mortals black, it still fucking comes at you. So you might as well try and do something back. I'm sure there's other stuff in other books that do mortals back. I mean, there's other lists that do have mortal splashbacks that maybe could be used at Worlds.
Yeah.
Who knows? A little teaser for you.
It's all right. I don't look at lists, so that goes straight in my head. I'm not ringing Solomon going like, Freddie's just given away that it's this. I've no idea.
Yeah, no.
No.
I won't give it away just yet. Well,
No.
when the lists get revealed,
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, no worries. So that's really interesting. So like you talk about like doing your own maths and enjoying that and stuff. So is there elements of your life before Warhammer or your life outside of Warhammer that sort of correlates? So what leads you there? I guess. So yeah. Okay. So.
I know what you mean. I don't know. I mean, I've always had a mathematical sort of mind. I went into sort of engineering.
Sorry, Freddie, you've froze a bit there, mate.
Yeah, I don't know where we got cut out, but
you went into engineering. That's the bit that I heard.
I went into engineering and that sort of math-based life. And knowing answers basically of what things that can and can't do, and that's where it came from.
Freddie, one sec, mate. We've lost you. It's dropped out again. You'll probably be able to hear me, but the people won't be able to hear you. Yeah, you're back.
Cut out again.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, no, it's a weird thing with the Streamlab and stuff. It like pulls through the collab cam, but every now and again it'll sort of drop it out. Sometimes I'll go a whole show with Mark and it won't drop out even when I want it to, and other times it cuts out. So you like finding answers and stuff. You like solving problems. So like, did you play any other strategy games growing up? Like, were you a chess player? Did you play poker's another one that I hear a lot of people talk about?
No, so I played Warhammer as a kid.
Yeah.
But then I gave up when I met girls.
Yeah.
As everyone does at 16, 17. And then chess was played quite a bit of chess as a kid. Played a bit of chess before I started Warhammer again. But I've always liked war films and strategies and Rome and like war history and all that. So the sort of statistician side of it has always been interesting. So that's kind of how I found my love of it. And I think when you start, I quite like playing the sort of underdog armies. So I played Bok originally when they were really bad. I like the problem solving of trying to find the win, where it is, how to find your route to victory and all that. And that's kind of where I found the love of playing kind of obscure armies, just brain fuck someone. It's always been a fun part of it. Not so much now with England because you got the best lists, and it's definitely a little bit of glitter comes out of it. But yeah, I just roll dice now. Funny where I'm getting a bit more painful now, where it's just like it's only rolling dice now. It's not so much list building. It's not so much finding some weird janky lists to play.
Yeah, I think the biggest criticism I have and I hear from people about this edition is around list building. I think on the tabletop I enjoy playing the game more. I think it's more interactive. I think that's great. I think it's just that before you get to the table element that's just gone.
Yes.
One of my mates sends me Stormcast lists, and I'm like, that's the same list. And he's like, no, I've changed this one little bit. And I'm like, it's the same fucking list. Like, come on. And it's a list I've seen a million times. And he's like, no, it's slightly different. I've changed this one hero for this. I'm like, but does it do exactly the same? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's the same list. You're just tweaking out your favourite unit for another. So, I think list building's probably the one bit they need to solve. So, Freddie, you still there, mate? I'm not sure if it's...
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I've got you back. No, you've gone muted now.
What?
Oh, I can hear you now. I couldn't hear anything before. I could see you and then couldn't hear anything. Yeah. So list building. Now, obviously, the new GHB on the horizon looks like it's going to shake everything up. Which could be interesting. It feels more like that should have been maybe the start of 4th edition.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where they're going to go with this next edition. I quite like this edition, to be honest. But apart from the crap rules, list writing variation, I think
Yeah,
like you said, the rule from a rules point of view, I think it's the cleanest it's ever been. Um, I like how the phases at least make sense now.
yeah,
Um, so touch wood, I think this world's going to be the most simple in terms of phasing, because last
yeah.
time with all the starter
Oh
phases
god, yeah,
like you
yeah,
miss one out of phase,
yeah,
like start of hero phase, and you're screwed.
yeah,
Well, this one I just changed my order and it's fine.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still in this phase. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost at the point as well where I understand what happens with manifestations. So you know, it's great. You know, but yeah, they are going to change it up, which could be interesting and stuff. So like you've built your list. You've talked through how you sort of go about building lists and stuff. You've said you're a reactive player. When you're looking at the table, and you've said to me sometimes you like play the player, not the list. You like the old psychology of that, and I don't know whether that's just you fucking with me to basically be like, I've got you in my pocket already. But what are you looking at when you're looking at the table? Are you thinking what your opponent's likely to do? Are you reacting to that? Are you thinking 3 steps ahead? How do you see the matrix if you're Freddie Leggett?
Yeah, to be honest, it all depends on what channel tournament it is. Let's say for Worlds, I will know every deployment that my army will do. So I'd already prepped all the deployments, every possible variation, every tactic option from turn 1 to 2. So whether it's like, do I set up for siege, do I set up for flanks, do I set up for train, whatever it is, on every battle plan, I'll have an idea. So all I'm doing when I go sat at the table is I'm working out what they're doing. And if you want to play at the top level, that's what you have to do. You can't think at all about your own army or what you're doing. You're just reacting, and then you can from there you'll be able to work it out. If I'm not in a heavy competitive event, I just normally have a simple idea of what's my tactic. A lot of people just set up and and you go, well, you can have first turn, and they go, oh, I don't, and then they're trying to work it out. Like, come on. And another one, like the key one, is just bloody learn how to screen. Like, like the amount of people, like when I was reffing at Slaughter, the amount of people I'm watching, like, and I'm like, why is Kragnos on the front row? Like,
Yeah,
like it's your 20 chosen. Like, why is he there? Yeah, that's the key ones in it. You're just looking out for those little faults in how they're deploying, how they've marked out. You can tell a lot from how they're talking about the list, how they are with it, and how confident they feel. Yeah, it's the key one is prep.
yeah,
Going into Worlds, I'm reading every war scroll. I'm reading every rule. That like every phase we've got. I'll create cheat sheets. So like for Northern Ireland, I've made every lit team cheat sheet. So I don't know how much the Northern Ireland lads looked at it, but I gave them all cheat sheets of every army, what the abilities were, what time in the phase they were, what it could do, what its limitations were. And if you actually read them, it makes a huge difference. Like one I learned the other day is like the suplex for Mega Gargants is within 1 inch. So like there are ways to get around that. Like I thought it was just combat range, it's not. But knowing that small nuance
yeah,
could actually make a big difference. So now Archean, in theory, could go into a Mega Gargant if he could tag something and hit off it.
Yeah, slingshot,
That's the sort of small stuff that actually is going to make a huge difference. Yeah, it's paying attention, I guess.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I think that's that level that most people aren't wanting to go to. So I don't think, nothing you've sort of said there really makes me go, oh, I didn't know that's something I should be doing, going to Worlds and stuff. And I'm not working currently, hence why I'm doing the stream. This is the mega streams to try and raise some funds. Basically, what I've set aside is like at least an hour a day minimum that I'm going to either read through a faction pack so I understand what, okay, Khorne, what can Khorne do? So these are the battle traits, so at least I know, and I'll make some notes. And I'm going to do a day where I just set up and I practice and do some deployment maps. So okay, I can set up. So got to decide what army I'm running first. But this is what I can deploy.
So do I now.
Yeah, in two turns. In turn one, I can do these 2 battle tactics, no problem. Doesn't matter what my opponent can do. This one is dependent on what they put and where. And that's the level of prep I want to try and sort of get to over the next month to try and get to the world's level, I think. So it's interesting to. So you've got Steve Follows is one of your non-playing coaches this year, isn't he? And I hear from people that he is like the most prepared man in Warhammer. Like he's got folders of all this stuff. Like
yeah, so like last year at Worlds had the deployments were ready to go. So he had little sheets of his deployment, exactly where his grave tides were going, and he basically just went onto a table, and that was it. Like he wasn't thinking about anything going into each battle table, and that's why he did so well.
yeah,
I had the same sort of thing for my armies. Like there is a system, there is a it's, kind of like knowing your auras, how you see it on the tabletop. Steve is like that. So Steve will have his score sheets will have it has all the abilities on it. So he'll have like his start of like his hero phase, his deployment movement, every ability, just so he could go through as a check sheet.
Yeah.
He had every tactic. He had an order of tactics. So what he could do easily, what he could do hard, like and the amount of prep he puts in, it shows why, in my view, and like Phil's as well, he's the best player in England.
Yeah.
It's just incredible preparations and thought, and he plays every army, he thinks about every army, and he understands what they want to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the key to it. I mean, for most people, they don't need to go into the sort of micro levels of understanding every army, but what I would say to people, which is a big sort of help, is know like one key thing about each army.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like Sylvaneth Strike and Fade is like, if you're gonna play Sylvaneth, just learn that one thing.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Murder Lust with Khorne. Yeah.
Like
still catches people out. Still catches people out.
Like, redeploy Murder Lust.
Yeah.
Like it is happening. Like that's it. Like we used to say with like Beast Claws, like Stonehorns. Don't let it charge you.
Yeah,
like,
tag it first. Yeah.
Don't get charged by Stonehorn.
Yeah.
So they're like you don't need to go into 10 pages of Khorne. Like just learn one key rule, and then you can do that for every army, like Stormcast, teleporting, whatever.
Yeah.
And that will actually make a huge difference. Like it will massively improve your game.
Yeah, no, I definitely think those are the elements that I could, work on more with playing and stuff. I think especially as I'm not getting as many practice games in as I'd like anymore because I'm not part of a club. Sorry, I don't know if I've lost you again, Freddie. Let me just check. I think you might have dropped out, mate. Hello? Yeah, you're back, yeah. So, yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I don't get as much practice games in as I'd like anymore. And also, when I play people now, I'm looking like, can I get 3 re-racks in and just run turn 1? And they don't want to do that because that's their time to play a game. They're away from the kids and stuff. So, yeah, I sort of struggle. So, I think my build-up...
That's unfortunately where people play TTS. Like,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of TTS, but I do see the massive benefit of it. And for example, I'm in a hotel room like this week. I will still be able to play TTS. And that's kind of where we are at this point. The nations who do best at Worlds will be the ones playing TTS. You can rack it up, you can save it, you can do deployments, you can change things so quick, auto measurements.
Those aura abilities that you were talking about and so on and so forth.
It's a punishment you have to get on with.
No, agreed. I mean, what you were saying before about sort of, learning one thing about each army and stuff, prior to today, so if we'd have been rolling with the old battle scroll, you could almost guess what maybe 5 out of the 8 armies that would be taken for each team would be, and you would have been able to just learn those. But I think, there's a chance now that that's sort of... It's good and bad that we're playing the battle scroll. It's good and bad, It's good and bad.
More interesting, but it was incredibly black and white what the 8 armies were going to be.
Yeah.
It's now more interesting, but like you said, I think you can still work out 4 of them. Like slaves didn't get hit hard enough that you're not taking whatever spam list you want.
Yeah.
Stormcast didn't get that hit that actually hard.
I was surprised at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're there. And there's a few others where it's just like, interest won't be feck. I don't know if those nerfs kill it. I don't know.
No.
That's one that needs to be tested. It might still be alive.
Ideneth have got a buff. Sharks going down 20.
I don't want that sharp meta again. That was awful.
Having played into Mike Stewart's Shark list and then Baz at 2 different events, I was like, fuck my life. Like, especially as I was playing Gargants. Like, it was like, come on. The worst thing was, like, I played Mike in a tournament and then Baz grudged me for something else. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he brought the Mike Stewart list. And I was like, that was the only list that beat me at the tournament, you bastard. As if you've grudged me and done that. It's
just like, I played against that with Korn, and I was like, and Mike was like, this is a hard match. I was like, Mike, I walk 5, and you shoot 24. Like, I can't reach you. Like,
no, I'm not getting into it, Mike. But he played it well. But the Stormcast points thing. So I had the app up and I was like, oh, they've not updated the Stormcast, because people were like, what about Karazai? What about Kronus? I was like, no points. I was like, there's no points on any of these. I said, I don't think they've updated the Stormcast. And then it was like, oh shit, no, they have, because they've made a change to this one thing. Cool.
Run and charge, great. Cheers.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
I can still teleport everywhere.
Yeah, jobs are good, and so
yeah,
Stormcast. It's an interesting one, but it'll be interesting because there'll be new stuff. But I think the top tables will be fine with it. I think the bottom tables or lower mid to bottom tables will maybe struggle with it because A, have you got model availability? B, do you have the time to practice new lists and stuff? So it'll be interesting, but I've got we don't have a practice weekend this weekend, so not before. So list submissions Wednesday, Thursday next week or something. Thursday.
I think we're going to try and lock them in Monday-ish.
Yeah. So you will at least have the weekend to practice. I've got an event in Northern Ireland which is on Saturday next week, not this week. So I'll be practicing my list. So at least I'll get a tournament in with it. But and that's why I was sort of glad that the Battle Scroll was moved, because otherwise there's no point playing a tournament because you're not playing the list and the rules. But on the negative side is, I don't have the opportunity to get any games in. I'll try and get some TTS in this weekend too.
Finding the list isn't optimal after the scroll is not what you want.
No.
There's nothing worse than knowing.
You'll have to excuse me, Freddie. I'm going to try and eat some stuff. Like, I'm on the stream and stuff. But so I'll ask you a question and I'll eat something. So let's think. What would be a nice question that'll just get you talking for long enough for me to get a couple of mouthfuls in. So if you could design a faction list that was I'm trying to get you to design a list for me. Let's have a think.
It's for anyone because I have a very specific play style.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to work. Your list isn't going to work for me. No, not at all. No. So in terms of what's next post Worlds, and then you're talking about going down to the mid tables and stuff. So you've recently moved to London, I believe.
I have about to be in London again. So I was born and bred in London, but moved up for work and all that.
Yeah,
but I'm back.
So are you abandoning Team Bash, or are you going to be going up for them? What are you planning? Talk as much as you like while I eat some food.
I'm still repping Team Bash. I think they'll still have me. I think they'll kick me out just yet. Um, but yeah, I think that's something that I would look at after Worlds. Is I'd like to start doing more team tournaments, not with England. Like I think a lot of us want to do that as well. Like Big Phil, I know wants to play with Lance and Bucklers and them lot.
Yeah.
Like the team Bash team, I think there's about 40, 50 active players now
Yes.
out of Bash.
Huge. Yeah.
It's a huge team. We're basically I think there's us and Warrior Lodge who are like the two big teams. Um, there's gonna be a there's meant to be a lined up game at some point between the two teams, which I think will batter Warrior Lodge. So I bet they wanted me to play in that one, so I don't think
Yeah.
Bash will lose me just yet. Um,
Oh, sorry, it's dropped out again. Sorry about this, Freddie. Bear with me. Oh no, I fully lost you, Freddie. You're back. Okay. I think it's that hotel internet, Freddie. Yeah, you're back.
probably
Yeah.
the two bar internet, yeah.
Yeah. So Bash will keep you going on, no doubt. How is Team Bash are some of the nicest guys I've met. Like genuinely, like I don't think I've ever played against anyone from Bash that's a bell end. I play Speckles actually, so I don't know. Maybe
That's true. We are carrying him.
Yeah, but in terms of like how have you fostered like a good club environment and how have you had longevity? Because one of the things I'm seeing at the minute is the rise and fall quite quickly of clubs. Like Mad's almost on its way out. There's the group chat's not that busy and stuff. So how have you kept, or how do you think Bash as a concept has continued to stay and thrive?
I would say it's the wonderful people, but it's kind of I actually think I think the big part of it is the proximity to Warhammer World. So Warhammer World and Nottingham do not have a gaming team. There's no gaming clubs. So we're kind of the first outer rim club that people go to. I know a few of our players are active in the sort of Bugman's chats and all that lot to get players over. Um, and that we have a very devout core of players. So I think um, one of our players, John, I think it was 47 or 48 weeks out of last year. Every Wednesday, so Wednesday's our club night game. He was like 47. Dean was about 40 odd. Like we've got some incredibly committed players who turn out to be lovely players as well. So good players and they're lovely, and that's been massively helpful to getting people playing. Um, I'm not there at Wednesdays now, so I'm not. That probably helps the community out. But yeah, to be honest, I mean, the group's thriving. Um, but yeah, I think, and there's been a nice rotation of players. So where I've kind of dropped out, like Ben Sav has come into like our group now because he's moved up
Okay.
into the Midlands. But there's always constant player stream. We got some very young lads who are hungry, like Um, Little Jack Williams and Vinish and that lot. Like they're super hungry players who want to be at every tournament, and that's kind of pushing up our competitive nature as well. So yeah, it's been a great community. I mean, I've been a part of it for about 2-3 years now. And yes, it's been going from strength to strength.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Like I say, they're one of the ones that you sort of see still pulling decent numbers to events and stuff.
Yeah.
And as I say, some of the game, I mean, there's not really sort of like there's a gaming groups either side of me. So there's the Bucks lads and there's the Gitmob gaming guys, but I don't drive, so I can't really get to either of them. But I had a driving lesson recently.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, I didn't crash the car or anything. I've got to decide whether I carry it on. Obviously, I've got the time at the minute to drive, but not necessarily the financial resources to drive. But we'll look at driving possibly. But I found a group of guys in Reading that we go to. There's a local brewery, and they let us have the brew room, and so we're going every couple of months and stuff. So there's a collective, if you will, of people. So that's good. But I think it'd be good to sort of maybe get a gaming group. Now that I've bought a house here and I'm settled here, I think it'd be good to get a Reading central gaming group together, to be honest. I've lost you again, Freddie.
What?
You're back. I mean, me setting up a gaming group is nothing new. The joke is that I've been more members of groups than I've played tournament games. But yeah,
never Team Bash though.
I've never lived in the Midlands. Annoyingly, there was a lovely job that's advertised at the minute in Derby, but I don't live there, so I can't apply for it. Well, I could apply for it, but I couldn't get there to work, so it's not really viable. So, but now that you're whereabouts in London are you based? Don't give your address out because it's a podcast and stuff. But whereabouts are you based?
I'm Greenwich now.
Greenwich. Okay, is that near to Paddington or not near to Paddington? No, completely other side.
Nah, not really. No.
Brilliant.
No, yeah, complete southeast London.
Right.
But Big Phil's only literally an hour away from me, so
yeah.
I've been living at his over the weekends, just playing Warhammer.
Yeah.
So it's I've been like living in London, but I've not actually utilised the London lifestyle really.
Yeah,
it's just been playing Warhammer.
And in a month's time, it'll all be done, mate, and it'll all be worth it.
Yeah, do you know what? And I'll actually go back to normality because even my flatmate, I'm not going to spend much time with him because I'm like in the evenings I'm like studying or playing or like, and then I'm off playing with Big Phil and all that lot. Or like 2 weeks ago we were all at the Stockport. 2 weeks before that I was at another practice weekend. We got this practice weekend this weekend, and then I'll be at Big Phil's after that. Like, it is a part-time job if you do want to try and win worlds.
Yeah,
like, it is. So touch wood, it's all worth it. Because it'll be a pain. If we come second again, I'll lose my shit. So
I was going to ask you actually, is it first or bust? Is anything less considered not worth it?
With the effort we've put in, like. You got to go for first, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether like like when you played Christopher and stuff, Six Nations. We were talking to him like after day one, and we're like, oh, what effort did you put in and stuff? And he said that he basically they all took like a week off work in the lead up to Worlds, and said we just took that week off and we were down there grinding for a full week. We were just practicing and stuff. And he said, we don't want to put that effort in again. He was like, we wanted to do it, we've done it. We don't want to put that level of effort in them. Whether that's just like bravado at the time, or he was worried about the NI were going to suddenly come out of nowhere and just sort of take the win because we took a week off work. But yeah, I think like you are talking about that level of commitment, which very few people want to or can do.
No, and it's not. If people need to understand, if they do apply for England Worlds or even in England Six Nations with the hope for going into Worlds, it is part-time job. Like you're not just able to play one game a week. Like it.
Two. Get me over two.
Like I mean, the thing is now, like you look at from War Scroll now to going to Worlds is 1 month, isn't it? So you're looking at if you play twice a week, that's 8 games.
Yeah.
Like it's not a lot.
No, it's not. No.
So that's kind of the scary thing about it. Always, that's why kind of this practice weekend's so key. Is you need to be getting, I don't know, between now and then probably 30, 40 games in.
Bloody hell, yeah.
To know your army back to front.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
There's not many is going to get to that. It's as simple as that. It's not,
Big Phil did that in a week.
Yeah, he's done that today. He's had 50 games since the battle scroll dropped this morning.
That guy's a machine.
Yeah. Was it a conscious decision to sort of step back from tournaments this year? Because I think it's been... Oh, it's dropped 1 sec, mate. It's bloody system. I need to... Oh, it's fully dropped. Maybe I was just getting too much information from him. Or maybe he's run out of the free Wi-Fi on the hotel. Let's wait and see if he comes back. So currently, if you're watching it back and listening to this as the podcast, Freddie has unfortunately his stream has dropped. Just waiting to see if he's able to come out. He's back. There he is. Yeah, he's back. So So I was sort of saying, like, it's been really noticeable. Like, yourself and Phil are sort of two names in the scene that you see at a lot of tournaments and stuff. And I think this year haven't really seen you at them. Maybe Brothers War, and then before that, I couldn't even think the last time I saw you at an event. Was it a conscious decision to step back from tournament play this year?
Um, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't think I've played a singles event since NIGT last year. Um,
I came above you in that.
uh, no, to be honest, I think I had a lot of stuff going on in my life at that point, and I kind of needed. World does because we hit it so hard and we do months of it. I need months out, and the same with after Six Nations. I had about a solid month after that was done, um, and kind of like the drive for singles was kind of proving yourself, like go there, win an event. Because at that time I wasn't in the England scene. I wasn't. You didn't have that sort of reputation, but now I've kind of got that. I don't need to do singles. Like politely, like as long as I keep backing up it on teams events and sort of effort off the table, away from tournaments. Um, I should always I should be in England teams without single events. Um, but I think after Worlds and after a little bit of a break, probably a month or two, I will go back to singles events and try and enjoy myself again. Because I think, like you said, like before, um, having to get 4-1s all the time, 5-0s, it's not as fun as a singles event as it can be. Um, I just want to have a chill out with the lad, really. Um, and that'll be hopefully we'll do that as world champions, and then I don't have to justify anything to anyone, and we'll just run into the sunset.
Yeah, because and the reason, I guess the reason I was asking is sort of one of the criticisms of some of the players before was that they weren't playing tournaments, but I guess you guys have just moved it away now from needing to play tournaments to just showing you're doing the reps, and TTS allows that, etc. So yeah.
Yeah. So like we all have Discords now. You can see how much people are playing. Um, like I don't know. I probably played more Warhammer this year than if I was doing singles events
Right.
because I'm going to people's houses. I'm practice weekends. We'd rather give up a weekend for all the team, do a practice weekend, than go to one of like a Sheffield Slaughter or something.
Yeah.
Because you'll get 2 good games, and then you'll get 3 average games or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Where a practice weekend, that was 3 days, 4 days. I think I probably hit 20 games, like, and they're talk throughs, discussions. It's constant talk about Warhammer and ideas and lists, and
Yeah.
they're far more valuable doing that than singles events. Um, Singles are more just hopefully the more chill out, which would be nice.
And in some respects, it's almost practicing a different game because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like playing singles, you're not coming into those skew lists. It's not the same as a teams. It's like you're going to play different stuff. You're trying to achieve. You need a win. Whereas again with teams, the practice might be actually, you know what, we're going to throw you in some reds. Just what can you do? What can you grind and stuff. So, yeah.
What you see in singles is people just sending it. There is no it's I'm going to win or lose now. Let's just 20-0 this.
Yeah.
And then if I bounce, I'm getting 0-20s. Where at Worlds, everyone's more cagey. Very rarely, I don't think even at Worlds last year did anyone send it at me. It was all.
You didn't play Archie then.
Well, yeah, as seen by his low score. That's the thing. No one yeets it, and if they do, it's an incredibly ballsy play that they've had to really calculate. So it's just the way Team Warhammer is. You can't risk getting 0-20. So like this Brothers War was a prime example where we were losing rounds, winning 3 out of 2 games, but you lose the round because you're getting 19-1 or 20-0'd or.
Yeah.
It only takes one big score to destroy, 3 good players, 3 good wins. So you got to be very, very cagey and tactical.
Or you've got Alex, and he just sort of, tells you after an hour, I'm off to the pub, and it's like, what? Yeah, been 20-0'd. Oh, okay, cool. Is there any point in me sort of playing out? But yes, there is. But yeah.
But don't. Yeah.
I think that bit, just to pull on one bit and to sort of re-emphasise or retouch on something you said there. But you said, you won't go to tournaments, you'll go around someone's house and play. I think that probably ties back into what you were saying about needing to have the right team dynamic. Because if you're giving up a weekend of playing Warhammer, you're not going to go to someone's house who you think is a bit of a bell end or, isn't going to commit and stuff. So it sort of gets re-emphasises why it's so important.
Oh, 100%, yeah. You got to end of the day, like, you're basically living with these 7 or 8 players, talking to them every day, every night. Now, don't get me wrong, some of them do test your limits with some of the WhatsApp crap that they can pull out. Some of them are a bit addicted to certain armies, and having an honest conversation with them can be a bit hard.
I think in the pub I overheard a conversation which was like, how can I make sure that my opponent can't do anything at all in any stage of the game? And you're like, fuck me, I don't want to play that. That's not the level of Warhammer I want.
Yeah, that sounds like the 3 Fox list, like back in the day.
That failed Surround and Destroy 3 times. Sorry.
Like last year, I've got like PTS from last year's Worlds. I think a few of us do. It's just like there are like certain trigger words like foxes, and you're just like wake up at night.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess it's like any team sport. Like you need everyone to pull their weight. You need everyone to do the job that they've sort of signed up to do to the best of their ability, and to make sure they've committed to as much of what you have. Otherwise, the whole team gets pulled down. And the level of effort you've been talking about putting in, the financial. This isn't a cheap hobby.
No.
So you sort of need that element of being able to rely on people and stuff. And I mean, I like Team Warhammer because I like team events. I bust money playing rugby in my 20s. I'm not been able to play competitive sport and stuff. So having that team element of you finish your game, you're talking to your teammates. You're like, oh, how did it go? What can we do better and stuff. I live for that shit.
No, it's great.
And I think I'm really lucky that I've found a team that I fit into, with the right ethos and stuff, and some good guys. I guess for me, it's a shame that some of the sort of older NI guys that I only got to meet at Worlds and play with at Worlds sort of have stepped back this year.
And like you said, it's a commitment, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got families, they've got kids, jobs, etc., financial concerns and so on. Like if I've decided to take the Christopher route, and I've decided to take like 2 months off work to prep for Worlds. No, not intentionally in any way, shape or fucking form. That is what it is. But I'm already thinking like I need to be employed and able to financially commit to Six Nations if that's going to be a thing for me.
It's in the UK, so
yeah. It's Liverpool now. I'd heard Manchester. It's Liverpool.
Richie's going to TO it.
Oh, Liverpool's like twice as expensive as Manchester.
We're letting you know now.
Yeah, cheers. I'll start saving the pennies. Fucking hell. Yeah, no, I'd heard Richie was running it, but I'd heard it was going to be Manchester. But that might just have been someone reflecting on the fact that they bid for Worlds. My other half's kindly at my side, like taking my bowl away to get me more food. Like
assistant,
much more glamorous than me. So Six Nations will be an interesting one. But England's blessed with like a huge amount of players and like a huge player base, and then NI we've just got 8 players, and we've had to sort of bring ringers is the wrong word. The guys have got connections to the team. So Tom's mum is Irish, and Martin lives over there and stuff. But and I was born there, as I make sure I tell everyone when they're like, "Oh, look here, just joined an AL team." But how do you go about? Do you think growing a player base and getting, or actually no, I'll rephrase the question. What would your advice be, or what would you say to somebody who's considering playing international or Team Warhammer, but thinks, I don't want to, maybe I'm not good enough, I don't want to make that step up or whatever? What would your advice be?
advice is you have to get involved. Like you have to get involved in the community. So whether that be release the beast TTS tournaments, singles events, team tournaments, just making a team of you and your mates. Um, always got I think all it takes is one game against an England player and you perform well. Then people go, who's that? Um, and yeah, you just you got to enjoy. You have to enjoy and love playing Warhammer if you want to play at any top level. Um, but yeah, I think you got to play. If we had a lot of applications this year, um, where you see the name and go, I might have seen him at an event, or
Yeah.
um,
So Phil's just joined the chat and said, bloody hate Warhammer me.
Well, I think we both do now. I think after Worlds, me and him are having a summer holiday somewhere. I think it's needed. Yeah, like we had a lot of applications of people who we hadn't had full sight of. They might have had a 4-1, they might have had a 5-0. But if you've done it at one event and not where anyone of any note was there, it's hard to get eyes on them. But there's certain players now with TTS now that they're taking names, they're playing a lot of Warhammer. It's hard not to spot them. So they're the ones. All it takes, like I said, all it takes is one person to give Phil a hard game, and it gets noticed. It's most people do just keel over though. But if you lose 8-12, we know it.
Yeah. And that's interesting because sorry, I'm just chewing. Apologies, everyone. I think back to when I was on the selection committee, and there's this young upcoming upstart called Freddie Leggett, who, because I'd done a load of events, and the whole point of me being on the selection committee was because I went to a load of events, and I was like, this guy's the real deal. He's got loads of results and stuff, and some of the committee at the time just said, oh, we don't know who he is. We've not heard of him and stuff. And I gave you your feedback. I think I was like, I'll give him the feedback. Yeah. And some of them were like, oh, he can't play meta lists and all this shit. So there was some comments made that they didn't know, some people didn't know who you were, and I think all of those people very shortly afterwards were like, we made a mistake actually, and they held their hands up, and fair play to them. But yeah, if people need to know who you are. I think you're right. It's not good enough to just go off and win some events and do some stuff if nobody understands who you are. If you're playing in the Saudi Premier League and no one's watching the games, you could be banging in 50 goals against the best players in the world. But if no one knows who you are, you're not getting signed to the Premier League and stuff. So, yeah.
Exactly. It's one of those ones where, you can win as many one days as you like. No one's looking.
Shit, there's my game plan gone.
Yeah. I mean, TTS, the TSN arena is a little bit like that, where sometimes you get 5-6 very good players, but a lot of the time it's a 10-man event.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, it's a fine balance. You just got to play. That's all you can do. For you, your advice to me was play a meta army, and it just at the right time, Bok became stupidly broken.
And you still didn't take the full meta list. You still did the Freddie Leggett spin on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just had to just be sadistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took the criticism, or not criticism, but the sort of advice, and I reacted to it.
Yeah.
There's a few England who didn't get in England last year. A few people who got in the Six Nation team but didn't get into the Worlds team. Some of them have put incredible amounts of effort in for next year. Like a prime example, Pooley got into the Six Nations team. We were a little bit worried about him, but since Six Nations, he blew us out the water there, and then since then he's just been repping. And it's that sort of attitude of he's there to help the team. He's there every practice weekend. He's there giving us advice on lists, trying out lists for us. That's the attitude we want in England.
Yeah.
And that's and more and more of that will be save for Farron. There's a good few players that and the support team is a key part of that as well. So it's a lot of it's effort. It's the
effort and attitude.
Go, I'm a better player. Yeah.
I mean, it's where you were saying about like the TSN Arena and stuff and that, it was just a little bit like that with the UKTC events, where it was the same crowd going. And I told a story on the podcast after I went to one UKTC event, the Oxford GT, because it was up the road, someone was driving, and this guy was playing Steve Curtis in like game 4. No, it might be in game 5 actually, and everything was going wrong for Steve, like all his dice rolls and stuff, and he was just like, and he was feeling like shit, like he'd got a bit of food, well, potentially got a bit of food poisoning from a food source somewhere, wasn't well and stuff, and like this guy turned around to him and was just like, it's alright mate, did you go too close to the sun day 1, eh? And like Steve Curtis is a fucking good player, like, you know, and Steve was like, no, and he was like, it's all right, mate. Do you know who I am? I'm pretty big deal. And then got his UKTC ranking out and like showed it to him. And it's like, fuck me, you're in like such a little bubble. There's no, like, you're probably running around telling everyone you're one of the best players in the country. But I can't even remember the guy's name now, so it just shows he's in such a little bubble. But that guy is not getting into team.
I think he applied to a team. I think he did.
Right.
Yeah,
did he say I beat Steve? Did he say I beat Steve Curtis?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
I know. Big Phil does his little power play with his bag, and he turns it over for Team England and all that.
Yeah.
I know he does, but
yeah.
I don't wear any England at any event. I won't ever wear England. I don't clock. I kind of keep a bit more hidden.
Yeah.
And I won't sell anyone unless at mid game or they ask or.
Yeah.
It was they've asked, is this your first event? You're like, no.
Yeah. The thing is though, I've got my teeth kicked in by some newbie because I've been drinking too much, and they're like, do you play much Warhammer? I'm like, yeah. I go to a few events, one or two. I mean, Phil's saying in the chat and stuff, and the reason I'm reading these out is because, as I say, this sort of section will go out on the podcast. But Phil's saying in selection this year for Worlds, we didn't care about results. Attitude was the most important, which, you know, backs up what you were saying before, Freddie. And he lost without the management team, solid group. Again, England are in like that, and some of these bigger Warhammer committed nations and stuff are really sort of lucky in having that support group and stuff. And like, you know, it was phenomenal. You guys had like Seb last year. You had the other Marshall was giving ice creams to people if they need it, which, you know, I'm not going to criticise it actually. Like he got me a water, and it was really important. But having those people around does allow you to sort of take some of the thought away from shit, I'm thirsty, I need a drink or whatever, and just like focus on the game. I mean, last year was the first. I think Worlds last year was the first time we had an element of support team. I think it was just Little Richard and I think and what's his name? Mark.
No, Mark wasn't there at the end. What's his bloody name? I've lost it. It's from Leeds. Joe. There you go. Joe Purcell.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we had them, and that was the first time we saw the benefit of support people.
Yeah.
Whether it was just getting waters or just having a chat with us, or a lot of my one was kind of like distractions after the game.
Yeah.
We saw the benefit there, and we were very fortunate when me and Phil sort of decided to take on with England. We had some great, some wonderful friends that were willing to help us, like Seb, Mark, like Tom Marshall, those sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they've been absolutely incredible for us. And then to be able to then bring in the extra England experience on top, so the likes of Tom Maudsley and Steve Follows to assist us with that as well. We have everything we need. So basically, I think we've got a support team of 6 maybe coming out to Austria. I'm sure if we play each other, they'll be getting you cups of tea as well.
We can't even get a coach. Like last year, our coach ended up becoming one of our players. So we technically had 3 drops last year for Six Nations, and Tom stepped in as a coach and stuff. So no, I mean, like for those that are into their sport and stuff, it reminds me, the setup you've got going reminds me of the England rugby team when it decided it was going to win the World Cup back in 2003 with Clive Woodward, Sir Clive now. And everything you're saying sort of reminds me of that. They decided they needed a certain number of experienced people. They used the Six Nations, literally the Six Nations. So the parallel is definitely there, and it wasn't intentional. But they used the Six Nations to blood those. They had a good support team. He took things like marginal gains were so important. So it was like, we're going to take our own pillows. We're going to take our own chef so that the food's right. We're going to do all of this. Simple things like they and for those that maybe don't watch rugby or whatever, but they would at half time they would change their shirts to fresh shirts for the World Cup. And it was an attitude of it doesn't matter what we've done in that half. We've won that half. We've lost that half. It doesn't matter. We need to win this half as well. So fresh mindset, marginal gains and stuff. And so everything you're talking about is like from if I was doing, part of my sporting mastership, my master's degree or whatever, and I was analysing the England team, I'd be saying you're doing all the right stuff. You're getting the psychology right. You're getting the training right. You're getting the team ethos which you're building. You've got a support network there. So, it all then comes down to what happens on the table. It does, like you can't, you are the most prepared England team that's probably ever existed, from the outside looking inwards. But from the outside looking inwards, you've got the right attitude and that culture. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Everyone talks about that. Maybe I'll use this and send it on as a job interview and be like, look, I do know what the fuck I'm talking about, not just Warhammer. But culture eats strategy. At the end of the day, if someone's willing to pull their weight for the team, I'm not happy with the matchup I've got. Like, we had one of our matchups at Worlds where unfortunately the player didn't like the matchup. Something went wrong in turn one. Their head just went down and they were like, I'm not grinding for the points. I'm not worried about the rest of the team and stuff. I'm not talking out of school and stuff, but everything's there, so then it just comes down to the day.
100%. Yeah, exactly that. So, when the players sit at the table, they'll be the most prepared they can be. Everything will be basically in place. So all the tokens, as small as tokens, cheat sheets, whatever they'll be, everything will be lined up. So as soon as they sit at the table, they know exactly who they're playing, what that army will do, and what is needed of them, i.e. I need a big win here or just survive. And that's the key part of it. So, we had a lot of that at Six Nations where we had brutal, honest conversations with one another, like, you need to, I expect you to win on this one. And you can't have, those people that go, I didn't want that matchup, I'm like...
Oh, Freddie, hold on 1 sec, we've dropped you. I'm definitely finding a new system to stream going forward. I can't figure out how to pull the Discord through to this, so I keep using this. But so you had people sort of saying like it's not about I don't want that matchup or whatever. It is like this is what you've got to do. And
you can't have that. So I think this team they know what they need to do, and they Phil is brilliant with that in terms of drilling it into the team and the matrices and effort, and Steve and the coaches adding in on that. We all know what matchups win certain matchups and what is expected at every level. We'll have to see if it works out though. That's the
dice are dice, but again, and I think you're being maybe a bit dismissive because I think by the sounds of it, you're putting yourselves in the best position where actually the dice are just one element of it. It's not the overwhelming element. You're not. Yeah. I've come away from games where I'm like, if I'd have just won that double, I won that game. Yeah. You guys aren't going to be in that position if you can help it, where it comes down to winning a prior.
Yeah. You assume worst case. Now, the only thing we don't have, and Denmark did it, they did have a nutritionist, and I was a little bit jealous of that one.
Okay.
Like, I played Rune, and he came out with he got a little pot of cinnamon sticks, little carrots, and I was like, you know what, I'm a little jealous of that one. I think he gave a banana and some electrolytes or whatever. I was just like, what the fuck is this?
I think I gave my opponents like a little Kinder chocolate bar. That was my version of nutrition. I'm like, I brought a snack. Do you want a chocolate bar? Okay. I mean, it's next level prep and stuff. And I wish you guys all the luck in the world, unless we play you. In which case, I hope you all sort of have stayed out till 4 a.m. drinking or something, because you've
we'll be in bed for 9.
You've underestimated us or slash overestimated us. I don't know, one of the two. We won't need luck if we play. Oh, come on, Phil. Come on, like at least give me something, you know.
It's like I think the luck we'll need is being in the pool without any penises around. That would be the win of. If we can like be able to chill out in our hotel without having to look over our shoulder, I think we'll be in a good place.
So I just now have a vision of one of the players getting into the pool and you sort of bobbing up and they're literally over your shoulder. Oh god, yeah. Phil saying in the chat, my plan is 0 Warhammer till Thursday Night Worlds. All our prep is already done, and then he's also put, it's just a penis.
Yeah. That's what we've been telling ourselves anyway.
Yeah, no, it's bloody good. You know, it's amazing prep. And like I say, I wish you guys all the luck and that you bring it home, which I don't think I'd have been saying a year ago. So you know, I mean, I know you guys and stuff, and it's but I think you and Phil have just brought a whole fresh attitude to it, which is refreshing and it's great.
We appreciate it.
Sort of, if you're listening to the podcast, this is part of a 12-hour mega stream. I'm trying to raise some money for funds for going to Worlds, which we're talking about, mainly because I'm not working again, which is not ideal right before Worlds, but I am committed to going. So you can donate on my crowdfunder, which the link will be somewhere, and you can donate on Ko-fi. So feel free if you've enjoyed any of the work that I've put out in any of the podcasts in any stage of time. Have you mentioned our data sets? I think you have touched on it. Yeah. Oh no, go on.
Oh no, there's a. Oh well. So this is Phil's and Steve's baby. So basically, every single competitive game between competitive players has been recorded, and we're talking all the way back. I don't know, September, whatever the last scroll was. And it's thousands and thousands of games that have all been recorded and been basically matrixed into what we think certain matchups are.
Right.
I.e., slaves 20 times, you know, if slaves have played Bok 50 times, slaves win it 37 times.
Right.
Like, whatever. And they all get recorded through, and they can get like checked through in terms of the scrolls, whatever it may be. So we have, in terms of matrixing, when we go into the pairings, we know that game's been played 70 times. We know our own thoughts. We have our own sort of, we would have played it ourselves, but then we also have all the data on the back as well. So, incredible amount of data management has gone in. As Phil said, it's taken ages. Incredible amount of work from them to get this together, and hopefully again that is not wasted time, that it comes to fruition.
So so let's imagine the scenario. It's the final round of the weekend, so it's round 6, and you've got you're playing for the win. So like it's you versus could be Denmark, it could be France, it could be Denmark, it could be France. No, like there's some other teams that have definitely sort of been growing and stuff, and all the data's there, and it's almost like Six Nations again. It's not going to be us. We've dropped. We're just trying to win a round this year. I'll go on to that in a sec. But and all the data says this. Would you have the balls this time round to call the audible and go with your gut rather than what the Matrix is telling you? So literally, it's the same scenario. It's me or the equivalent of me and someone else, and all the data says this is the matchup you should take. But in your gut, in your heart of hearts, you either know the player or you just think, do you know what? I've seen something this weekend. Would you call the audible or are you going with the data?
So, for me, I think it depends on the person. So, like, if it's Phil in that position, I'm going with him every day of the week. His gut.
Yeah.
Against some of the lesser player, like not lesser player, like
the
wrong word.
Yeah, I know. It's a slip of the tongue.
Junior.
Junior.
I'd probably go off the Matrix. So it depends. Like if I played that army now 100 times, you better believe I trust my Matrix. I trust my gut. Some people though, if they played it 20 games,
Yeah.
I'd probably trust the Matrix more than their gut. And it's that sort of stuff. It's understanding where they are as a player in terms of their prep.
Yeah.
We are confident going into Worlds that everyone will be as prepped to the balls as they can be, and that and that when he says it's a 4 out of 5, he gets that 4 out of 5, and we'll back that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Phil says, put your dick on the table, back foot handshake. That is the mentality.
Yeah.
Flipping any reds, whatever, just go for it.
It's and that's really interesting. I like what Phil says. It's about conversations and stuff, and so on and so forth. But having the data helps. I guess it's being data informed rather than necessarily being fully data led. So you're not just sort of blindly doing it. So, like I take Northern Ireland at Worlds last year. So like the year before, I think they were like top 15 or something. Like they beat Sweden with you in it. Obviously, it's a different beast, but everybody sort of stepped up their game last year. So like Serbia went from like bottom the year before to like doing quite well and stuff, and we just in some respects we just shit the bed and just didn't win a round. You know, we only didn't come bottom because we did slightly better against some of the teams and stuff. And the new format, it's wins in the round now, isn't it? So
it is, yep.
Yeah, so we can't rely on just not losing games. We need to actively win some games now this year. And it'd be great if all 8 of us could win the games at the same round so we can win a round. But yeah, so you can't really rely on what past performance is in Worlds because new players will come. People have put different levels of prep in and stuff. So all you can do is beat what's in front of you and not lose, I guess. Yeah.
You do see, like, the teams that improved most last year were the ones who played TTS.
Right. Like on a regular basis. Yeah.
Like, it's the ones who put the reps in. And generally, if you play TTS and you're part of the Release the Beast and all that lot, you see the meta lists, you see... And that's... It gets your foot in the door. It doesn't give you the answer, because, of course, certain countries hold back lists or whatever.
Yeah.
But it gives you 90% of that list is there. And that's normally good enough to win majority of games.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of us knew those Poland players, but they and Australia.
Yeah, Australia.
Example,
Yeah.
TTS fiends.
Yeah. It's yeah. Well, we're fucked then, basically, So no, I mean, we've got some good individual players and stuff. We just need to pull it together in the same round and actually do what we need to do. We're so far polar opposites, and again, it's not criticism of the team; it's the level of commitments that people want to put in. But we were matrixing before the game, like on battle plans and stuff. And although we're better than we were than the team, so I tried to get my team to do a matrix for Brothers War. The Orc Bum chat. I was like, I'm not going to ask you to do all the different army lists. Just if you could do the battle plans for me, that'd be great. I was the only one that filled it in, and several of the team said they went. I don't even know what the battle plans are. Why would I be able to fill in this? And I was like, cool. I was like, my expectations have been very different for this weekend, but that was a me thing. Yeah. So I decided midway through with becoming an international player, I wanted to take it a bit more seriously, and my expectations didn't match up to what their expectations were. So that was on me. So yeah, that's and that I guess that's. Yeah, you need to be on the same mindset and stuff. Yeah, so cool. What's Phil saying? Also, people can play meta lists completely differently. You would see the list I'm playing, but there's no guarantee you can mirror your practice on how I play it. That's a big thing. Focus on what you can control your prep. Yeah, absolutely. Like Phil, I could take your list. I keep taking alpha lists, and I'm not an alpha player. Like I don't do full send, and yet I keep taking alpha lists, and like it doesn't work for me. And I need to, I accepted that after what I was running a Brothers War and changed it, and then the Nerf Hammer came this morning and smashed it in. So yeah, but play to your strengths. Definitely play to your strengths. So yeah, cool. Freddie, it's been a pleasure, mate. I'm not going to keep you all evening because you've probably got 30 odd games. Or Phil's probably. Yeah, I mean, Phil's probably joined this chat just so he can message you and say, can you get off the bloody podcast? We need to talk lists.
We need to have a TTS game now, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an absolute pleasure, Freddie. Thank you so much. I will see you in a month.
Yes.
Good luck with all the prep. I'm sure we'll message on WhatsApp beforehand and stuff. But good luck to you and Phil, and enjoy. I'm going to take a short 10-minute break after this before I jump into some more conversation and try and drag Mary through. We're nearly into hour 9. We've nearly done 9 hours of this. So yeah. As I say, anyone who's listening or tuning in, feel free to drop a donation in. It will all go towards my beer fund at the Worlds or whatnot. So yeah, we've got Mark joining me for Death and Destruction. It will be the opposite of this conversation. It will not be tactical. It will not be whatever. It will just be an inane chat. Mark's having a bad time of it because his shoulder's still fucked, and he's living the Nurgle lifestyle now. What I will say is, if both of you are, if you and Phil, at that point where you're like, fuck Six Nations, just want to have some fun and stuff, get a ticket for Gaff Jambo. Just come up for a weekend, like enter under fake names or something, but just come up, drink some beers and have some good fun, because Mark and Lyndon do run a good event. It's good fun. So yeah, keep it in mind. Yeah, brilliant. All right, thank you again, guys. Freddie, it's been a pleasure as always. Phil, speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.